foremost, welcome everyone. I am so glad that you were able to join us for this presentation. This webinar we'll be covering today will be how to prepare and submit a winning entry to the MCA competition. My name is Molly Delerta, and I am the Director of Member Recognition and Programs here at SMPS HQ. Before we get started, please note that anytime during this presentation, you may type your question in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. And at the end of the presentation, we will have a time to go through those questions and get them answered for you. So also, please note that we will be recording today's program, and we will post the recording on the entry portal site, and that address is throughout this presentation in the lower, I believe, right-hand side of your screen. It is smps.org/MCA entry, which is the home site for the entry portal. So we are going to go ahead and get started. The the topics that we'll be covering today will be the benefits of entering the MCA program for those of you new to SMPS or the MCA competition. The dates important for you to remember and put on your calendar, eligibility and entry fees, how to select the right category to enter, preparing your entry and an in-depth look at the entry form, going over the judging criteria in the evaluation process, how best to exhibit your samples that you will be submitting in the competition, and of course, last but not least, your questions. For those of you new to the program, MCAs offer multiple benefits to its entrants. Entering can generate more media coverage to gain exposure for your firm and raise its profile by reaching a wider audience. In addition, MCAs put your firm in the spotlight. Who doesn't want to work for or hire an award-winning firm? MCA provides a unique opportunity to showcase your firm as a leader in the marketing communications through best practices. All finalist entries become a part of an MCA gallery, which offers great exposure as well. In addition, the competition provides recognition specifically for your marketing team. Get noticed by your colleagues and industry peers. MCA allows that opportunity for marketing and communication teams of AEC firms to stand out and be recognized. And another important long-term benefit that I feel sometimes might get overlooked as an entrant is validation. The MCA competition gives your team an opportunity to validate the value of your work. The process of submitting an entry to the competition allows marketers the added benefit of documenting and benchmarking the work they do for their firm by providing criteria that the marketing teams can use throughout the year with their multiple marketing projects. Many of our entrants find the entry form questionnaire is a great resource for their marketing planning outside the MCA program. The criteria is based on 5 areas, which we will cover in depth later on in the program, and they are marketing objectives, research and planning, target audience, messaging, and results. Most important, we want to make sure everyone understands that this is a marketing competition, not a graphic and design competition. Important dates for the 2024 program are, as you know, the entry period started on December 15th. So as of today, you can enter. The entry portal is now open and accepting entries. The final deadline will be March 22nd. The early discounted deadline is February 15th. The judging for the first round will take place tentatively April 8th through the 22nd. We hope to announce our finalists by June 1st, if not sooner. And the MCA award ceremony will take place on July 25th in Salt Lake as part of Amplify AEC. Eligibility, as a reminder, this competition is open to both members and non-members located in the U.S. as well as international firms. Materials submitted must have been completed between January 2022 and January 2024. Those will be accepted for this year's competition. There is no pre-qualification required to enter the MCA program. Entry fees, and please note, all of this information is located on the entry portal, which that address again is at the bottom of your screen, smps.org/MCA entry. To get the biggest discount or the deepest discount on entries, you will want to enter by February 15th. That will save you $75 off your entry fees. That discounted rate is shown here for $255 for your first entry and then $155 per additional entries. Entries received after February 15th will pay the final entry rate of $330 or $230 for each additional rate. Please note that there are no refunds offered after the February 15th date. For MCA categories, we do not have any new categories this year, but I often get questions about, well, which are your biggest categories? Which categories do I have a better shot of possibly being a finalist in? And for the smaller categories, those would be brochure, advertising, trade show, crisis management, and DEI communications based on last year's competition. And of course, our larger categories are typically holiday, corporate identity, video, website, and special event. Each of these categories, you will see some of them, such as special event and holiday piece, are broken out by digital, mixed media, and print, because there are the number of entries to support those different media platforms being judged separately. Some of the more broader categories, such as advertising, depending on the number of entries, will determine if individual awards will be granted by the each media types, which is digital, mixed, and print. Digital would be strictly any marketing piece that was created strictly for use on a digital device. Mixed would be a combination of your digital media as well as print. And of course, print is strictly pieces that have been printed for marketing. Now we're going to take a deep dive into the online entry form to help you understand step by step the process for entering your submission. When you go to the web address, as you see there on your screen, it will prompt you to log in. For those of you that have entered in the past, or perhaps you've participated in other SMPS award competitions, you will enter your email address and password that you have created for this awards portal account. If you're new to the program, you will simply create an account by filling out the create a new account section on the form that's also on the same page as a login form, which is your first and last name, company information, and then you will create your own password. This account, please note, is separate from the smps.org login account that you use with your SMPS membership. If you're a member of SMPS, this account is unique to the SMPS award programs only. So please use your email address and create a password if you don't already have an account. If you have any questions or concerns with logging in or creating an account, perhaps you've changed firms since you last maybe accessed the account, please feel free to reach out to me directly and I'll be happy to assist you with creating an account or logging into your account that you have previously created. Their entry form is divided into 3 sections. The first section is the contact information form. The second is the entry information, and the third is the award information. So on the very first page under contact information, you will see in the upper right-hand side, we have a new feature that allows you to add additional staff to the entry that will allow them to update, edit, revise, review the entry, and help make any modifications that you would like. The person's information that is located under the step 1 will be the main primary contact for the entry. This will be the person that will be emailed updates regarding the status of the program. This will be the person that will be notified whether or not your firm is a finalist. And they also will be the person that will be have the ability to make the payment and finalize the entry for submission. The collaborators will only have the ability to make modifications. To take a look at that managing collaborators section, you simply will click the add collaborator button, and there you have the ability to add someone, and they just ask that you put in their first and last name and email address. They will get an email that will invite them to access that entry. You can also make that collaborator a primary contact, and you can also remove their access if necessary. Further down on the section 1 of the entry form, you will be asked about the status of your application or your submission form, we have an option for those of you that may be a first-time entrant, because this will allow you a 10% discount on your entry. You also are asked if you're a current member of SMPS. And then also, if you are, we will ask that you indicate which chapter that you are a member of. And the last section of the contact information form is the Federal State Business Classification Certification. If by chance your firm is a certified minority business enterprise, if you can make that selection there, you will also qualify for a 10% discount. Step 2 is the main portion of your entry form, because this is where you're going to enter your entry information. This information will vary for each entry that you submit. So if you're submitting multiple entries, this particular section is the one that will need to be updated each time. First, we ask for your entry title, and this needs to include your firm name as well as ideally the category that you're entering. It's not a requirement to include that category name, but here we have ABC Construction and Trade Show booth. That helps with the classification of your entry and the organization of and display of your entry. If you can include the category, that helps. It's not required, but definitely include your firm name in the very first part of the naming of the title of your entry. This snapshot or screenshot was taken back for the 23 program, but you will want to make sure the new completion dates for your program, as mentioned earlier, is going to be January 2022 through January of this year, 2024. And you will simply need to input that information in that field there. And then the next selection will be your categories, which is a drop down of all the categories that we just covered, and you will make your selection there. Once you've made your category selection, you will then indicate if it's a digital entry, a mixed media entry, or a print entry. For this example, we're showing if you select digital, which will then immediately display a digital or mixed media URL where you will input the address that you would like the judges to go to view your digital entry. If you select print, you will be asked to upload the PDF of your print marketing piece. And if it's mixed, you will have the digital URL option there. And then you will also be asked for those additional URLs. You are not required to submit the additional URLs, but if you have anything that would support your entry that you would like to post additional URLs, this is where you would like to do that. So you have the option to check yes or no. If you have no, it'll just simply go to the next area, which is the PDF document upload. And then if you have some additional URLs that you would like to submit, then you simply will put them there. Ideally, you would want to test these URLs. Many times entrants will leave an extra space. Maybe they lop off the H, or they forget a period or a slash. You definitely want to make sure that you test those URLs, and you can do that by clicking the link underneath, which is open the link in a new window. So you will know immediately that the URL is working correctly for the jurors. The next section that I was referring to is the PDF upload, where for those categories that require you to upload supporting documents, this is where you will do that. And you will see here, there's a preview screen that allows you to see that the file has uploaded successfully, and you can test it there. This is literally the files and the format that the jurors will be reviewing your entry. And then you have the ability to upload additional PDFs if needed. And then the next section will be the image section, where you have the ability to upload up to 6 supporting images, again, that will display your entry to the jurors. I will go into more detail on what to upload there towards the end of this presentation. So the entry form is very straightforward, and all of the questions that I'm about to cover are located under the criteria section and submittal requirements of the MCA on the MCA portal. So as a review, you want to make sure you read those submittal requirements. I cannot stress that enough. This is very important to the judges, because this is what they're going to be basically measuring your responses to the questionnaires. You want to make sure you answer all 6 questions on the entry form. And you want to make sure you include all the information requested. For example, if they're asking for objectives, you want to make sure you include that. If they ask for a plan, you want to make sure you include that. And of course, results, because those are required for all entries. And so you may be asking, well, what exactly are the judges looking for? So this is a screenshot of the actual the entry form. And the first section is marketing objectives. And specifically, there's questions there that they're asking: what did your firm hope to achieve with this piece or program? How do you plan to measure your results? And then additional ideas of information that you will want to share there: your objectives, of course, the time frame, budget information, and methodology. If for some reason that you cannot respond to some of these questions that are being offered in the form, you simply just want to explain why. Don't make the mistake of asking or not, or acting like you don't know that that was asked, or just saying, well, I'm going to skip over it because I don't have a response for that. You can simply just say, this is the best I can do providing for methodology, or I see that, you're requesting this and this is what we did, or I'm not able to provide that. It really helps the judges understand that you are trying to respond to the questions that are being asked, and that you've taken the time to read through the questionnaire and address all the questions that are being asked. Frequently we get questions on the word count. Why do we have a word count? There's not a lot of wiggle room here. And that, of course, is on purpose. The word count is limited. You see here next to each question, you will be judged on these responses. All the information you need to answer these questions is on the Submittal Requirements webpage. Again, I can't stress enough, the creative brief is your opportunity to talk directly to the judges. And what I like to say for that specific part is this is your ability to say why you feel your entry should win this competition, or why you feel your entry is the best. The marketing and objectives, target audience research and planning, and messaging and results are straightforward, and really you just want to make sure you read the criterion and for each of those sections and answer the questions that the judges are asking. So here's an example. I'm sorry it's probably small on your screen, but again, I often get questions, well, how am I supposed to put in 100 words my research and planning? Or how in under 75 words can I possibly answer what our marketing objectives were, a time frame, budget information? Bullets are your friend. They're very, very useful. I cannot stress enough that this really helps the judges go through your information and responses succinctly while they're reviewing your entry. So this really is very clear. There's white space. It's easy for the judges to get the information that they need in this format. So please understand that the judges understand that you're going to be doing this in a bullet format. And this is really helpful to them as well. So I just wanted to make sure you saw an example of what that would look like used properly. The very last section on that, section 2 of the entry information, is an optional notes field. And this is just more of an administrative tool for you to provide any details or instructions to the judges that would be helpful for them reviewing your entry. For instance, sometimes people will be submitting a password requirement for viewing a document or a website. You would just simply want to include those instructions here. It is not required, but if needed, you have this option to include information there. And just again, please note this field is not judged. It's simply an opportunity for you to provide instructional information if needed. The judging criteria is based on those 6 sections. The sections that can earn the most points would be your marketing objectives, the content deliverable, and then results. So marketing objectives, we kind of went over that already. The content deliverable is the one section that you will not see that you are required, that has a response associated with it, because that is the actual piece itself. That is the look and feel of the entry that the judges will be scoring for those 20 points. So there's nothing response-wise that you will be using, that you will get for those 20 points. That is strictly the look and feel, the graphic part of your entry. And then the results, of course, there's a direct correlation there. If you've set out your marketing objectives and what you hope your results are, and then you will want to answer those questions in that results section. And the judges are looking for that you are tracking that if you've set out to make, objectives, did you go back and check and see if you met those objectives? Step 3 or section 3 of the entry process is simply the award information. This is the part I always call like the fun section of the entry form. This is where you're going to put your firm name for the award on how you would like it to be displayed in the event that your entry is selected as a finalist. This will be for any of our social media promotions, educational purposes, print, the media presentation that we do at the award ceremony. We do want to make sure that we get everything spelled and displayed correctly. You will also want to put your firm, city, and state. We will need permission to promote you if you are a finalist. And last but not least is a photo of yourself and or of your team that you would like to include as well, because we do want to make sure that we promote the people that are winning and are part of the winning submission. The very bottom there, you will note that if you want to, this is the last page of the entry form. So this is where you will just simply add it to the cart. If you're done, you can save it. If you still want to go back, you're not ready quite to add it to the cart for the payment processing, or you can always hit previous and go back and modify anything. Once it's in the cart, you still have the ability to edit if you need to, and I'll show you that in just a moment. This is the shopping cart and what it looks like. It's not very fancy, but this most importantly is under the action section. I want to make sure you see that you can, if you hit select, that will open the entry form back up where you can go in and make modifications. If you have another entry and you don't want to have to re-input all that information that you put in section 1, you would simply hit copy entry, and then you can all you have to do is update that section to the entry information, where you can basically put in the new information for the new entry. Or if you need to remove the entry altogether, let's say maybe you want to start over, or you decided not to enter that specific entry, you simply hit remove and it will remove it. You also have the options here at the bottom. If you're ready to check out, you will simply hit the checkout button. You can also go to make another entry, and that will start you from scratch with a brand new clean entry form. Or some people want to have a copy of their entry submission so they have a record of what they've submitted, and you can hit the print all entries option. So each year we get, of course, lots of questions about how best to display their entries in this competition, since it is completely online and judges will be reviewing these entries using a computer, of course. So there's many different ways to do this. And over the years, with the advancement of technology and interface, different programs, apps, things like that, this has become, I feel, a little bit easier. And we want to make sure that you have the ability to represent your entry as best as possible. So let's go through that. Of course, most of you should know that the 2023 MCA Gallery, which resides on the entry portal site, is an excellent resource for how entries are displayed and used throughout the program. The gallery features all our finalist entries from the program year. And once the winners are announced at the live program, we then add their placement on the gallery. So you can see who won the Award of Excellence, and then who also were Merit Award recipients. And then once you click on the individual entry, you'll see more information about each entry. There's many different ways to navigate the gallery. You can click, you can search for entries by the different categories. If you know a firm name that you would like to see what they submitted, you can enter the firm name. There's many different ways to search for entries, but those would be the two main ways to do that. Once you select an entry, you will then have a window pop up, and it will have that main entry image. So again, this is the way the public will view this. This website is open to the public, how they will view your entry. We have also the ability to upload your team image or your individual image, and then also your firm logo. In addition, the posting will have, if it is a URL, that URL will be linked. So if you uploaded a video that was submitted, they will have the ability to view the video. And this also will have your firm address, city, state, location. And then the description that you see there at the bottom, which is really, I think, helpful, is the creative brief that you've submitted. So it tells the audience and the people viewing your entry the background of your entry, and gives them a little bit of the backstory on why you have entered it into the MCA program. And then also, just for reference, the reason I personally really like everyone to see kind of the full picture is when you do select these images to upload, they are definitely used in multiple ways. And here you can see how the image is being used during the award presentation, so that if you are an Award of Excellence winner and you go up on stage, you will see your image is displayed along with your firm name. All finalist images and logos are displayed throughout the program, and then the Award of Excellence are invited to come up and receive their award on stage. Now, on the flip side, just so you have a better understanding on how the judges appreciate the images that you upload, this was a submission from our 2022 program, and they were a merit award winner from Park Hill. And I love this image that they submitted because it was of their staff holding the actual holiday card that they had created. And I feel like there's just no better way to show proportions and just how the piece worked than a picture of someone actually holding it. So sometimes we'll get this with the books. Obviously, we have submissions where people are submitting maybe bowls, or maybe sometimes it's food or different types of gifts, things like that. But an image of it on its own is one thing, but then having someone actually using it or holding it really gives the judges a better scope on the entry itself. So it's just another example on how best to display your entry. Here's a better screenshot as well. This is again inside the gallery. This is a close-up of the corporate identity brand refresh recipient from last year's program, Consor. And this specifically for this category, as most of you know, we have different variations, or excuse me, different sections of the corporate identity. We have brand refresh, new identity, and a rebrand. And so this specific one was a refresh, which you can clearly see here because they show the before and they show the after. Again, this is one of those situations where like a picture is worth 1,000 words. This is very well displayed, very easy for the judges to understand what the changes were, and really conveys a lot regarding the specific category where it's really, really important. In fact, we put it in the submittal requirements under the category descriptions, which you want to make sure you read clearly once you've selected your category. The before and after shots for this specific category are very, very effective. Next up, I wanted to show what a great example of mixed media category. In this case, it's special event mixed media, because there's multiple components to these types of entries, such as the digital interface or the print pieces. You want to include as many images as possible that can show that cohesiveness regarding the project. In this case, it was an event, a healthcare event, and they did a great job. They showed what this looks like on a laptop. They showed what this looks like in person. They showed what it looks like on the mobile device. They showed, literally the signage. So things like this in an entry put together like this is very helpful and effective for the judges, because it really gives them a great overview of the branding and overall effect of your marketing piece. So great job. Happy with their entry. Here's another example, mixed media. This was our pro bono merit winner from last year's program with Studio Plus. Great job showing. I wanted to show you, some people are making coasters or t-shirts or hats or safety wear. This is how you would display that, again, because the judges are having to look at this through a computer interface. You can still show the effect of the pieces that you've created, the marketing that you've created to support these initiatives all in one place. And this is like one image. So that image you're looking at right there is one image. So I want to make sure everyone understands that they put that all together. And this is the image that they said, hey, if we're selected as a finalist, this is what we want to display. And that's that first image on that entry form to upload. Now, again, sometimes I feel like a picture's worth 1,000 words. Trade show, a lot of people struggle. They're like, how can I possibly display our trade show booth? It was huge. We had multiple people. Again, just having the people, if you have a group shot of people in the booth, or your team together, this really conveys the scale of the booth and the different things that they had in the booth. I think it's just a really great snapshot on conveying what their entry for the trade show entry looked like for marketing. So just another example, when you have something large, an in-person event, special event, how you can photograph that and submit that as part of your entry. And another question, of course, is on the flip side. So for the digital entries only, such as a website or video category, they're like, how, other than sending you a URL, how would you like us to display this? HIT did a great job with this. This is their website entry from last year, and they were a merit winner for their website. And again, they just showed how the website worked on the different devices, which I think, of course, nowadays is really, really impactful. You want to see, what does it look like on your laptop, desktop, iPad, phone. Just, it really conveys to the judges that that was taken in consideration when putting together their website. So now I just want to remind everyone those deadlines, not to forget that the early discount deadline is February 15th. And again, we started this option last year and was very helpful. You have the ability to submit your entry by the 15th, and you can still modify it until the final deadline, which is March 22nd. So you can take advantage of that early discount. You just have to remember, you have to go in and modify your entry if you did not finalize it by the 22nd. Because that is our final deadline. After 11:59 p.m. Eastern time on March 22nd, we will no longer be able to accept entries. So you just want to make sure that if you are planning on entering this year, that is your final deadline. So again, reminders, all submissions, again, they can be modified post-submission, as I stated earlier, but I want to make sure everyone understands that you still are required to fill in all the fields. So any field that has an asterisk next to it on the form, which is red asterisk in the order from the application, it has to be filled out to submit payment. So the form will not allow you to check out unless everything is filled out. So what that means is, let's say you want to go back and tweak your messaging response or your research and planning response. You will need to do that. If you just put in, let's say, filler copy there, you will need to go back and make sure that that is finalized by the 22nd, because there will not be another opportunity for you to modify it if you forget to go back and do that. So again, just want to make sure, if you're trying to take advantage of that early discount deadline of February 15th, you want to make sure that you go back and modify your entry before the 22nd, and we will not be able, because we have to get the entries in front of the judges. So we just want to make sure you don't want to be uploading, your pictures of your maybe your dogs and cats and, for filler, and you forget to go back and replace those images. We want to make sure that you remember to modify them and have them ready for judging by the 23rd of March. Don't forget, you can add those additional team members as collaborators, which is a new feature. So that way you can have multiple people working on the entry at the same time. And again, just a reminder regarding those discounts. If you are an MBE certified business, you can receive 10% off your entries. Or also, if you're new to the program, we will offer a 10% discount as well for first-time entrants. And then last but not least, regarding the reminders, is our FAQ section is also on this portal site, and it covers a lot of these questions that you may have. So please make sure you check out the FAQ section and see if it answers your question. And of course, if it doesn't, you are more than welcome to reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to assist you. So this is just a little checklist that I think is helpful for everyone just getting started. You might be a little overwhelmed if you haven't done this before, but first and foremost, you just want to think about your firm's most effective marketing projects that have been completed in the last 2 years. And then you want to make sure, like I said, it has been completed between January 2022 and January 2024. And then the next fun part will be determining which category. And I do get quite a few inquiries each year, and I am totally happy to assist you with this. And you just need to also understand that your entry actually may qualify for more than one category, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes you might want to find which part of the entry you want to maybe focus on, and that can make a big difference on which category to enter. So please, again, feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to assist you with that. Please make sure that you read those submittal requirements carefully. Again, they're located on the entry portal site. You want to make sure you complete that online entry form and answer all the 6 questions that are going to be reviewed by the jury. You want to make sure you enter those images and URLs, and please don't forget to test the links and preview those images to make sure they display correctly. And please don't forget to proofread those responses. Even though the word count is small, and even if you use bullets, you do want to make sure that you proofread those responses and maybe put yourself in the juror's seat and just make sure that you've answered the questions carefully. And last but not least, please make sure that if you aren't taking advantage of the early discount deadline, that you finalize and submit your payment by the final deadline, which again is March 22nd. So what does all this mean? Why go to this effort to enter the program? We are excited to announce that we will be recognizing our MCA winners during the MCA ceremony, which will take place in conjunction with Amplify AEC. And this will take place in Salt Lake City in July 24th through the 26th, 2024. So mark your calendar. I hope everyone has already registered. If you haven't, go ahead and do so. But our winners are announced live on stage during the MCA ceremony. Okay, so next we are going to jump into that question section. So I'm going to ask my colleague Kevin to help go through those questions so that I make sure I get to everyone's.
Yes, Molly, thank you. Yeah, we got questions. Brandon, Justin, Mallory, Lindsay, and Justin again all wrote in. Should I read the questions aloud to you, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Brandon Norton wrote it earlier. Is the eligibility window for materials always 2 years, i.e. January 22nd to January 2024, etc.?
Yes, typically in the past, I want to say, gosh, 5+ years, it has been the 2-year time frame. And I just want to take a moment and explain that that is not some random number that we came up with. The purpose of that, because this is a marketing competition, sometimes people will hear about the program and they're like, we just published this book and it just came out in like, let's say mid-January, like right now, like let's say you just published a book this week. The purpose of the program is we want to make sure that the entrants have time to collect those results. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you have had time to collect the results. So instead of saying you can submit entries maybe that are hot off the press the last week of March, or like, let's say mid-March, the judges are going to understand that you probably haven't had time to get all the results needed to support your submission. So that's the purpose behind the entry, the parameters for the eligibility of the materials. Great question.
Excellent. Next question is from Justin Davidson. A bit of a long one. I know there's a discount for multiple submissions from the same firm. However, at larger firms, some people may submit unbeknownst to others in different offices, etc. Does the system have any sort of feature to reduce rates once the required number of submissions have been received from the same firm, despite whether they were submitted from multiple accounts, or does everything need to be submitted from a single account? Hope this makes sense.
That is a very great question, and I appreciate you taking the time to describe that. And I completely understand what you're asking. Unfortunately, the short answer is no. Each submission is basically based on the location, and let me just dive into that shortly. So I'm going to pick on a company called ABC Construction. So that's my go-to company. So let's say ABC Construction has 4 locations. They have an LA office, they have a DC office, they have a New York office, and they have a Miami office. And let's say we get entries from all 4. Those are each counted separately, so they would, they don't qualify for the multiple discount. But let's say one of the marketing people reaches out to the other marketing people and say, hey, do you mind, combining efforts here and taking advantage of the discount, to get that multiple entry discount. They would have to combine it and decide to come from one location and just pick that chosen office location to do that. The reason why we do that is some of those larger firms that do have multiple locations, that you are recognized by that location. So again, that ABC Construction, if the Miami office wins, that is how they will be identified in the awards, not only in the gallery, not only during the press, the announcement. We always list the firm name and city, state for that exact reason, because we want to make sure that we, identify the location of the entry that won for those larger firms that have multiple offices. But unfortunately, the system itself doesn't have the ability to allow for multiple entries from different different people, and combining them that way, and then still being able to identify each individual office separately. Unfortunately, the system is not quite at that level, but I do understand what you're asking, and I hope I answered that. And if not, definitely feel free to reach out to me separately. But yeah, that's why it is the way it is right now.
Terrific. All right, next question comes from Mallory Reardon. Mallory asks, when submitting a URL for the website category, do we just submit the URL for the home page of the website, or should we submit multiple URLs for reviewers to peruse multiple pages of the website?
That's a great question. Definitely for that first URL, you're going to want to upload the main landing page or the home page. And then my recommendation is to click the button. Do you have additional URLs you would like to upload? If you have specific pages that you really think are impactful that it would help the judges to see, I would recommend listing those additional URLs so they don't have to go through and try to find them. That the judges do go through the entire site that they have permission or accessibility to access, but you can certainly help them by going ahead and listing those specific URLs that you're like, I really would like them to see this, internal page, or maybe our team portfolio or our gallery page. You certainly can include that, those specific URLs in your submission. It definitely will help the judges save time, because unfortunately, of course, they can't go through every single page of the website. I think the website is one of the most tedious categories to judge, because they really spend a great deal of time going through the site, the navigation, the look and feel, and anything you can do to help them with that is greatly appreciated.
Next question comes from Lindsay Sampson. I work at a small commercial real estate firm where I am the only marketing professional. Is there someone I can speak with to gauge whether or not the trade show marketing entry I'd like to submit would have a shot at winning in comparison to other entries?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd be happy to talk with you. And also, I can't recommend enough, go into the gallery, or the MCA gallery I keep referring to, and look at last year's, entries and see what they look like. Absolutely. It's no problem. I'd be happy to talk with you. A lot of people work with firms and maybe they are the only marketing person at their firm, and they're like, there's no way I can go up against these larger larger, let's say, engineering, build design firms, and we don't have their budget. I don't have a marketing team. It's just me. But I cannot stress enough, over the years of working with these different entries and entrants, all shapes and sizes come to the top. The judges are not as concerned about budget. Obviously, a great, a larger budget for entries is obviously it benefits, the entrant, but they love creativity. They love the fact that entrants are resourceful. They're trying to save their firm's money, or maybe they had a tight budget. Maybe they didn't have a budget. Maybe they had to do everything in-house. You want to mention that when you are doing your responses. You want to make sure you're communicating that to the judges, because it really helps them understand, what you put into the entry and why you're entering. So I definitely want to encourage everyone, please don't be dissuaded by thinking that only large firms win. Last year we had quite a few firms that had never entered before win. So definitely, please don't let that limit you in thinking that you can't win. But I'm happy to answer any questions, or meet up with some entrants, or email, whatever is easiest that I can help answer your questions for you.
All right, another question from Justin. He says, would it be best to submit a video series? Videos are 1 to 2 minutes each, as one longer video with them combined, or as individual videos that make up the series? I'll read that again if you want.
No, that is a great question. And we do frequently get, sometimes in social media as well, like podcasts, people are like, my firm did a podcast series and I want the judges to see, the theme. And definitely if you have any type of series, especially in those campaign categories, you want to submit, obviously you're required to submit multiple examples so the judges can see the continuity, the branding, how everything ties together. So for the video series, honestly, the easiest thing for the judges is if you have the ability to put them all together into one video, and you just, again, this is that notes field at the bottom of that entry form, you can say, just judges, heads up, this is a video series. We release these videos over a span of 6 months or 2 months or a month. We put them here together in one file for your convenience, but this is how they were originally done. And then if you want, in those additional URL options on the entry form, you can then upload, post those additional, individual URLs. And then that way they can actually see how they were segmented out. But definitely if you want to combine them into one file, that makes it easier for the judges.
All right, and this one comes from Anonymous. For the social media category, is it better to link social pages or specific posts?
Oh, great question. Great question. And actually that segues to another topic that I want to make sure I go over, that we get questions about as well. But personally, I think it's best from what I've seen, and just understand that the social media category has really grown exponentially over the last couple of years. Like we've had the social media category, I want to say for 5+ years, but definitely in the more recent years, we've gotten more entries. And what I see being submitted, which is very helpful, is screenshots of post, or perhaps you're trying to convey for testimonial purposes for results, is comments. So let's say your firm did, again, like a social media campaign to raise awareness on maybe construction week or something to that effect. And you can see that you had 25 comments or maybe 100 comments. If you can share a screenshot of those comments, that is extremely effective when supporting that result statement. So anything that you can do, that like a screenshot of showing that, you can provide the direct link for social media. So let's say I'll go to like Instagram. So if your firm has an Instagram account, and you're like, we just really want to talk about our Instagram account. This is what we're entering, and we feel, it's very effective, and we have this many followers. You certainly should provide the direct link to that Instagram account. But when it comes to basically, what am I looking at the word? I'm sorry, I'm losing my words. Evidence on supporting those results and success of your social media post. And that, in my opinion, would be mostly your comments or people reposting or sharing. Screenshots are going to be very effective for that. I hope that answered that question.
All right, that's all the questions in the Q&A right now. If anybody, hold that dial. Another question. Does the entry page include dimensions for adding photos, etc.?
Oh, great question. Yes, there are specifications on the entry form for when you're uploading images, the file type, JPEG file, PNG file. We ask for actually an EPS file on that awards information page for a print for your logo. That's something, because when we obviously want to print your logo in the materials, like in the marketer, when we feature our winners, we do need an EPS, a print ready file type for format, I should say, for your logo. But yes, so specifications are in there. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to assist with that. But please note that the system is able to handle pretty large files. That file limit is on there as well. So you know exactly file size, what you're working with. And especially for the video uploads, I would highly recommend that if you don't already have the video loaded on YouTube or Vimeo, or maybe on your company website, you want to make sure, I would not upload the actual file. If you can make sure you include that URL of a player, that is the best way for those videos to display. So I definitely want to stress, if you can upload again any video files to a video player link, that is the preferred method for displaying videos. And then the other question I just wanted to cover that usually is asked is regarding sensitive information. This particularly comes up regarding the project pursuit category for those that want to submit proposals. Please note that you are required to obviously block or hide any confidential information, sensitive information for your firm. You also are required to have permission to submit that information, but please note you can use stock photos for any type of resume or portfolio team resume. You can use filler copy, Lorem Ipsum, I use that all the time. What you're trying to do there is just convey the packaging perhaps of the proposal, the layout of the proposal, the scale of the proposal, the materials that were produced, but you are not required to submit any confidential information. You will not be judged against that. So please note, I just want to make sure people understand that because this information is shared with judges, it will become published on the website. So we just want to make sure everyone is aware of that. And that was my last little tidbit.
All right. We're getting close to the top of the hour, but that's the questions. If anybody has any more questions for Molly, now is the time to ask, or if you think of one later, there's Molly's information on the screen. She's always on standby.
Well, thank you all very much. Kevin, thank you so much for facilitating those questions. And as Kevin said, please reach out to me. My information is all over the MCA website, as well as SMPS HQ's website. I greatly appreciate everyone's time today to allow me to share this information. And I'm very excited about this year's competition, and best of luck. Thank you, everyone.